All right, our guy Joe Burrow. This has been a great segment. First off, T-Bob and I spoke to Coach Chad Sabady's or to Chad Sabady's class a couple of weeks back, just about some of the radio segments that we've done over the years, and really, this segment is one of those that you didn't know what it was going to be like once you got into it. Then once it hit, it was really kind of appointment listening radio, which in our industry is, that's kind of the peak. That's kind of what you're looking for, is for people to tell you, I don't know what I'm doing the rest of the week, but I know at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, I'm hovered around the radio, listening to Jimmy Burrow talk about football, talk about his kid, talk about his family. And today is going to be the last conversation that we have with Coach on a consistent basis. We will obviously text, harass, bug, aggravate the hell out of him up until the draft, after Joe is drafted, to get him back on the radio. But he would expect that. But this is the last day that he'll be consistently on, which has been since what? Since early August, since mid-August, when LSU began practicing, and through everything, through the entire ride. 15-0, trip to Austin, trip to Tuscaloosa, win at home over Florida, Heisman Trophy, National Championship, SEC, Peach Bowl, and now the Burrows getting ready for the draft, and their schedule is very busy. So we understand it, but first we want it to be said that, Coach, off the bench, our show, our program, our station, very grateful for the time that you have given us this football season. Thank you very much. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and I appreciate you guys having me on every week. It's been really fun, awesome. They're followers of this show at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning now in Athens and the other parts of Ohio. It's kind of far-reaching, and people driving around Louisiana that my family sometimes they call and say, hey, you guys did a good job on the show. So it's been something I look forward to every week, and as you said, we'll continue at times to be on.
So this weekend for Joe, a lot of exposure for him being at the Super Bowl. But he just wasn't the Heisman Trophy college winning quarterback. He was kind of the business piece of Joe Burrow. What was this weekend like?
Well, he really all the hoopla of the Super Bowl probably wasn't something he was really that fired up about. And then when we started our meetings with some of the new marketing people, and they said people are going to pay you to go to the Super Bowl, he kind of looked at me and said, "They're going to pay me to go to watch the Super Bowl?" And they said yes. So he was fired up. Got a chance to meet a lot of cool people and make some money too. So that's all a good thing.
Wow, that's cool, man. Just the experience of Burrow.
He met Shaq. He was fired up. He finally got to meet Shaq, which he even though he's from LSU, and I got a chance to meet him once over at the football facility. Joe had not met him to my knowledge, and I had a picture somebody sent to me when they were meeting each other, so that was cool.
Have you gotten the story? How fired up was Shaq to meet Joe?
Yeah, right.
Well, apparently he knew Joe was there, and he had reached out to some people. That's my understanding, that, hey, I want to meet Joe Burrow. So
wow,
that went both ways.
That's
so
as cool as it
was
gets.
good.
All right, so real quick for you, he's off now to California and kind of beginning this process of preparing for the draft. Somebody that's been around football, you've developed these guys and getting them prepared for the next level. When it's your son going through this, what's kind of your point of view of this part of the process?
Well, it's really important. Joe has taken a couple of weeks off, and he's thrown some and done some lifting with Zach Notestein, our strength coach here at Ohio University. But it's his first time to really start preparing for the draft and for the combine and for his senior day. So quarterbacks are a little different. They don't need to be bench pressing 400 pounds and running 4.3 40s. So it's more about just making sure you're working on your technique and watching film of the NFL to really start getting a feel of what kind of defenses and coverages that you're going to see, because I think that's a big part of the process of a quarterback once they are at the combine and they have their visits, is getting on the board and talking about defensive coverages and checks and protections and that sort of thing. So that's the biggest part of his preparation.
He broke down every defense he saw this year, whether it was led by Brent Venables, Nick Saban, or pick a name by anybody that tried to throw anything at him. Kevin Steele. How much different, Coach, is football from Saturday to Sunday from a defensive standpoint?
Well, you never really play a defense that has a weak link. They're all more than likely very, very high draft choices. They were the best of the best on their teams in college, and so maybe a throw here and there that you got away with in college probably ends up as an interception. So you just got to take all that into consideration. And one of Joe's strengths, as you just mentioned, was seeing coverages and breaking them down. So I think he'll be fine at that. But it's still different, and even the football is different. He started throwing an NFL football a couple of weeks ago, and I watched him really the first day, and it's different. So it's just a lot of things going on that you maybe don't even think about, being the football being one of them, but it's all different, really.
Jimmy, when everybody knows about Joe's physical skill set, and the tape will speak to that, and he will continue to train, right, so he's good at all the workouts, the throws, and everything. What about the meeting room kind of aspect of all of this? Because that is where I think he's really going to blow people away. But do you do any extra training in that regard? Like, do you do any preparation for questions you might be asked or anything along those lines?
Yes, that's part of it. He'll have some people there that are familiar with the type of questions that you'll be asking your interview, and they'll prep him just like you would for a job interview, and then it's always good to know if for example the Saints are interviewing you, it's always good to know, hey, this is, I have some familiarity with their type offense so that you can talk their language. So, but the teams that are interested in quarterbacks, Joe's team out there in California will prep him on a lot of the terms and offenses that particular team is going to be talking to him about. And it's not like 20 guys need quarterbacks, so they'll have that narrowed down and be a little more specific about the teams that are interested.
Does he pay attention to that stuff? There's crazy things down here in South Louisiana, nothing official from the Saints, but like rumors that they could package Mike Thomas and Marcus Lattimore with a couple of picks to the Bengals for Burrow. Does he even pay attention to that type of stuff?
No, he really doesn't. I mean, it's so long here between now and that draft that there are a lot of things that could happen, but he was focused on the kind of relaxing there for a while, and then getting back into it a little, and then the Super Bowl, and now there'll be some talk, I think, down there about the specific teams maybe that are showing interest, but you just really never know. When I was drafted by the Packers many years ago, I filled out questionnaires by 10 to 20 teams. None of which was ever the Packers. So that was a total surprise that day I got drafted by them, because I really had no contact with them.
Talking to Coach Jimmy Burrow here on Off the Bench. And, Coach, when you were watching this Super Bowl on Sunday and you see Pat Mahomes, right, at less than 25 years old, MVP, Super Bowl, like, all these things, just watching the Super Bowl, did you ever have a kind of moment where you kind of realize, oh, wow, like my son is about to be in this league. Like Pat Mahomes out there everywhere. My son's about to be competing against Pat Mahomes.
Yes, I did. I mean, there's several in there, and just watching the pass rush on both sides of the ball. You're going, now Joe's going to be subjected to that.
It's Joe's best friend, Bosa.
And that's right.
Yeah.
Our family, Joe especially, feel bad for Nick. That's one of his best friends, and Joe's a competitor, and Nick Bosa. I don't know if you've seen any of the after pictures of him. That guy wants to win more than anybody that I've ever seen, and that's a good thing when you're still wanting to win as badly as Nick does in the NFL, but that was a tough one for the 49ers, but I think they'll be back several times in the next few years.
Yeah, for sure. Bosa looks like one of those players, when he makes his mind up, he wants to get to the quarterback, you just simply can't block him. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Coach,
I tried to look up if they square off next year. It doesn't look like Cincinnati and San Fran will play year one. So he's got a little break from Nick for now.
Coach, real quick, Tyler Tettleton was a guy that played quarterback at Ohio University. Coach Ogeron just put him on the staff. He was the quarterback while you were the defensive coordinator. What do you know about him?
Very smart. He understands as a player here. He understood what he was going against with coverages, and we knew he was going to be a very good coach once we figured out that's what he wanted to do. I know when he was at Oklahoma, our staff here actually flew him in to get on the board and talk about Oklahoma's passing game, and Coach Albin's our offensive coordinator. I can remember just saying, how great he was on the board, and they got a lot from talking to Tyler about Oklahoma's offense. So very excited that he's going to be down there. George Munoz was such a special person to Joe in those 2 years, and I can see Tyler having that same effect on the quarterbacks there at LSU.
Coach Burrow, thank you for giving us a shotgun ride on this journey, man.
Yeah.
We've had a front row seat to watch how cool this has been for not only your family but for your son and for LSU football. For our show, it has been some pretty groundbreaking stuff. So thank you again, and we will be in touch.
All right, we'll be down for the Manning award ceremony. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but my understanding it's in New Orleans. So you guys have to set up shop there.
Well, we'll be there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.
There he is, Coach Jimmy Burrow.